I have a $64 billion question for Hollywood. No, it's not why do you keep race swapping and gender swapping characters in established IP, even though it's a part of it. It is why are you so afraid of making something original? Amazon spent $8 billion on MGM. Outside of maybe Stargate and maybe James Bond, they don't ruin it. I can't see any franchise worth a damn. They already tried to reboot RoboCop. RoboCop is 2 good movies in the 80s. Just like Ghostbusters is 2 good movies in the 80s. These things really don't have to continue on forever and ever. What are you going to do with Legally Blonde? I guess you could have Tiffany Haddish star in a reboot, and maybe that would be kind of funny. But there's really not much to be done with most of these franchises Amazon bought. Let's actually break down some of these reimagined takes of established IP. Velma, which is a Scooby-Doo reboot that doesn't have Scooby-Doo or the Mystery Machine or its original tone. It's supposed to be an adult-oriented show, and Velma is also supposed to be Mindy Kaling instead of white. So my question is this: why not create your own IP? You're changing so much from the source material, you might as well create something new. And if we're honest, there's already an adult-oriented Scooby-Doo parody called The Mike Tyson Mysteries. That notwithstanding, an original franchise could be made here because so many changes are being made to Scooby-Doo itself. You might as well have Velma be an entirely new character and an entirely new premise. This has worked for a ton of other franchises that change so much they become something else. The Boys is basically, what if the Justice League / Avengers were evil and corporately backed? Orville is a reimagining of Star Trek, just like the Venture Brothers is a reimagining of Johnny Quest. Even Star Wars itself is a reimagining of pulp serials. So having an influence and taking a premise and flipping it on its ear is a part of what creates new IP in the first place. This isn't the only thing doing it. There's a new Resident Evil reboot in which Albert Wesker is black, and it doesn't let any other original characters even involved. Why not create your own IP? Why can't you just have an evil character that's similar to Wesker but it's black, and then you have your own original characters in this Resident Evil-like world where there's an evil corporation funding this zombie program? But it doesn't have to be Resident Evil. You can create your own franchise, and guess what happens when you do? You have freedom. You have freedom to do what you want. You don't have fans that you hate complain that you're not sticking to the source material. P.S. One of the main reasons, the pushback to why Hollywood doesn't create its own franchises, well, the fans aren't going to know it. They need establishment, but you don't care about the fans. You don't care about their original IP. If you did, fucking Leia wouldn't have floated through space in The Last Jedi. You don't care. So create your own. Create original stuff. I'm tired of reboots. I'm tired of remakes. I'm tired of race swaps. I just want original escapism entertainment. It's not that hard. Another reason I'm not going to buy the argument that people only care about established IP is because some of these franchises are obscure to modern audiences. They're going to remake Perfect Strangers with 2 black women, which is fine. I don't see why they don't just make an entirely new property starring 2 black women, because there's nobody under the age of 35 who remembers Perfect Strangers, let alone cares about Perfect Strangers. This was not the most popular comedy. It was a fairly popular comedy. I don't want to be too dismissive of it, but it's not some huge franchise that needs to be remade or reimagined. There would be nothing wrong with taking Robin Thede and London Hughes and giving them their own show, and in fact, I think it would be more successful because, again, nobody cares about Perfect Strangers. Quite frankly, this comes off as just a pitiful hand-me-down. This is made even more ironic because Perfect Strangers is just a reimagining of The Odd Couple. It would have been simple to take 2 black females, give them personality traits that clash with one another, and then call that its own series, and you would have something new. Another way to dispel the no one will know about it myth is the fact that these parody franchises actually have the fan base of the established franchise they're trying to parody. A lot of normies who like the MCU or the Avengers went on to watch The Boys or Invincible or other similar franchises. My point is, if you create an IP or a franchise that's a parody or a homage to another franchise, you'll get that established fan base. Hell, there are now Star Trek fans who think the Orville is more canonical than the current Star Trek running. That's the point. If you actually do it well, you can imagine and reimagine and pay homage to another franchise, and it doesn't cost you $8 billion to do it. I appreciate you watching my video. If you like the video, please like the video. If you're so obliged to share and subscribe, please do so. And even if you do none of these things, Thank you for watching, and thank you for your time. God bless.